Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. If you are new here, remember to subscribe and join the family. And if you like these videos, make sure to give them a thumbs up before you leave. So today is, as you watch this video, I'll have hit like 2 years in marriage. Yay! And we are both alive, not killed each other. Yeah. So there are a couple of lessons that I think I would love to share. I am not like the wisest person when it comes to these things, this thing called marriage, because I think there are kurugenzis in marriage, those who stayed longer. But I believe like a few of the lessons I have learned in my 2 years might help someone out there. So it's just good to think about them, reflect about them, and share them with you guys. So just a bit of background. I've been married 2 years. I got married in 2019 to my longtime friend and boyfriend at that time. We had dated for around 7-8 years, I think since 2013 to 2019. Wow, 2013, 2012. But though we met in high school in 2009. Yeah, so we were longtime friends before we tied the knot and started living together in 2019. We actually started living together after our traditional wedding. Then we did the church wedding 6 months after that. That is in December 12th. Yeah, so there are a few lessons I've gathered here and there, 2 years in. Just to share them in no particular order of importantness. The first one is that life does not revolve around you just because you've gotten married. I used to think that, the way you long to just be around your husband or your partner. I used to think that he'll just dump life as it was and just hang out with me throughout. Please, it doesn't really work that way. I think it's important to actually stay as an individual, even in the marriage. Yes, you're two together. Yes, you're answerable to each other of your whereabouts, of, making plans together. But at the end of the day, you're also an individual in that marriage, and you have to build yourself in that marriage. For example, there are things I really love doing, and of course, they don't diminish in any way the marriage, but they make my life better. There are friends I love hanging out with who are very good for me as a person and also for the new season that I am in, that is marriage. So there are times I go hang out with my friends and I come back. There are times we do things together and I come back. If I love going to watch concerts, I still do. Though we go together because some of them we enjoy together. But if it's something that I personally love, I still do it. If it's I was going to say watch a movie, but I don't watch a movie. The point is, you have to remain an individual and not forget yourself. You also have to have me time, out of time together, to enrich yourself, because you can't pour from an empty cup. So it is perfectly okay to just take time and enjoy being alone sometimes. Doesn't mean you're less married, but it's perfectly okay, and it's going to make even the marriage better, because you're gonna feel like yourself more, and then you're gonna pour into your partner when you're feeling happy and all that. So the second lesson that I've learned is forgiveness and apologizing will be your way of life, because in marriage you argue about the smallest of issues and then they become like big mountains. It can be about who did not spread the bed. It can be about who did not close the kabati, because I really get mad at such things and I know myself. But generally, you will hurt each other. You will just have to learn the language of forgiving and apologizing. And apologizing, sometimes it's hard, especially for women. You apologize in cooking and every other thing, but not the words "I'm sorry." But I'm learning that it just has to come easy. Sometimes it might take you time to practice those two. It might take you time, and these days I'm learning it's just good for me to remove myself from an angry situation, go and cool down, go and think about things objectively, and then I can speak about them. But before I used to just, fire shots there. It's not worth it. Just the art of forgiving and apologizing will be refined in this institution called marriage. The third thing that I've learned is a lot of our childhood traumas come into the marriage, and you will still see them in your issues. You'll see how someone handles issues, or someone relates to issues. For example, if you have daddy issues or mommy issues or insecurities, they really come up in your marriage issues. And you're lucky if you have a partner who can tell you, by the way, I notice when you do this, you overreact, or you do this instead of just, dealing with the situation more maturely or differently. And do you think it could be about how you were brought up and how you dealt with things, or how you saw your parents dealing with things? It really is. You really need a partner who can really check you, like understand you deeper and check you sometimes, especially when it comes to childhood traumas, because we dump our issues, our more emotional baggage to our partners with or without knowing. So I've really learned that it's good to be aware of your own healing so that you can also heal your marriage in more mature ways, especially if you've had a lot of childhood, traumas. And it might be something small. It doesn't have to be something really big, but in a very big way, they impact how you relate with your partner. Another lesson that I'm really learning is related to the fact that now I am a parent, is that babies will shake up your marriage. Getting a baby can really, really, really shake up your marriage, because you have expectations. You have expectations as to how you expect your spouse to act. You have expectations as to what a father should do, how a father should behave, how a father should not behave. You have all these expectations, and even your partner has expectations of what a mom should do, a mom should be to their baby. It can really shake up your marriage when you have a newborn here and both of you are just learning this new baby. Both of you are on edge because there's lack of sleep. There's a lot of changes that come. You have now a third party. You probably have a nanny in your space. You have people around now, and you have to adopt to that change, because things are not the way they are. One of the things we really sometimes we cosana with my husband is because he wants me to watch a movie with him. He really, really tells me, you come watch a movie. And me, in my first year of motherhood, I just want to sleep. So even now that my son is sleeping better, I make a conscious effort. Let me just watch the movie, even if I might sleep, 40 minutes into the movie or anything. But you have to learn to adapt to the change that babies come with. I remember in marriage counseling, we were being told, make sure, like you're sleeping in a bed as married people, make sure the baby does not come in between the bed. This is you, this is your husband. That we were being told, when the babies come, they should be here and here, not in the middle. They should just be adding on the side, because the two of you are there first. And that thing really stuck with me, because I remember even co-sleeping put a strain on my marriage, because at the end of the day, I'm tired. Someone is snoring. There's no space. One of us is falling, or both of us are falling off the edge of the bed. We are trying to adapt. Yes, it's a stage, by the way, but at the end of the day, their babies will really shake. That's just a general example, but babies will actually shake up your marriage if you're not very intentional about it, because your time is also stretched. My time is usually very stretched. We have to purpose to have like date night or time out. We can't just be shouting or arguing in front of the baby, because that's not what we want to do. It's more mature, like we just take time out and, iron out our issues, and maybe in the old days when we would just shout at each other in front, because we are just the two of us. So it really comes with a big change, that you have to be more intentional about your marriage, and you have to manage your expectations and communicate what you really want from your partner, because sometimes men actually don't know that you need help until you say it. Until you say, this is what I want you to do. I want you to feed the baby. I want you to sleep with the baby today so that I can have some. You have to communicate. You have to really communicate. And tied to this point is another lesson that I'm forever, preaching to people, is that marriage counseling works or helps. I don't know about you, but it has really helped us. We had premarital lessons before we got married at All Saints, and I really loved the program because it opened up our mind to, marriage, different marriage scenarios and what the law says and other issues. Just generally, it was a very good one. We even had a session where we had our parents over, and we had this discussion of interference with in-laws, that you remember a man must leave, when they're getting married. And I remember the preacher emphasizing living does not mean building next to your mother. That when you have not left, you're just there. Like, just general examples that he was giving, that you have to break away a little bit and focus on your nuclear family. I really love the fact that counseling helps marriage, helps to iron out issues that come up in marriage, because you feel like it's a safe space to communicate something that you might not communicate in the house when you're just the two of you. Then you get someone who can give you a fresh perspective on how to do things. We went for counseling once again when my baby was around 7, 8 months there, because you see, I had postpartum depression. Men do have postpartum depression as well, so he had his own things going on also, but it was just in my head. It was just about me and going through this, and you're not helping me, and me. And we managed to go for counseling, and we understood each other even better, just because this was a fresh and a safe space for someone to communicate. By the way, this is how having a baby has changed me. This is what I envision being a father is, and vice versa. So if you're going through a hard time, I really always say, just try counseling. You never know. There's no danger, there's no harm in trying something and then saying maybe it doesn't work for you, or finding another therapist. But I'm really glad I'm really glad that we embraced the concept of counseling before marriage and even during the marriage. So I'd advise anyone, try it. Our therapist is on a marriage therapist who is on Instagram, called @GKNderitu. You can check her out if you're looking for any. Another thing that I have learned in marriage is that friends can actually break a marriage, for sure. Friends, the company you keep. Remember that bad company corrupts good morals. It's very important for you to adjust in the season you are. I'm not saying you go dropping your friends, but they're friends you can't really carry into the marriage. And most of the time, it's those friends who don't promote the values of marriage. And these are not necessarily single friends. These are just friends who probably have bad behavior, that don't encourage, what you need. They don't encourage what you need to make a good marriage last. We've had our hardships where their friends, I just felt they were not good for us. And most of the time we would argue about those same friends. But what I also learned is that my job is just to tell my friend being my husband, by the way, this person is not good for you. And you hope and pray that they will see this. That's how I have handled it. I just communicate. And I know women were very persistent. I will just remind you every time that, by the way, you see what I told you, this is not good. This is not going to help us. This is not going to help you. This is not healthy, etc. And you pray and hope that this person will see. Actually, you pray to God. God, please reveal to this person that this person is not actually a good friend for them. And we've had friends who've actually also built our marriage, those that we surround with, and they also enjoy, they also encourage marriages that work, like they believe in the institution. We've had such friends. I've had also my single friends and married friends who are pro-marriage, and it's not been an issue. So my point here is, friends can really break, or they can make your marriage. Another thing that I have really learned is sex makes the world go round. You need to have sex. You need to be intimate with your partner. I really used to underestimate this thing before I got married. I underestimated it. Like, I used to think, what's the big deal? But lack of it, you will see yourself straining, like growing apart and everything. Sex and intimacy go together. And I was recently listening to Radio Waumini, and the marriage counselor was encouraging people to do what's harder. He was encouraging women initiate sex more, because women mostly wait, and men should initiate intimacy more. Take your wife on dates, do those things. Those are the things that bring you close together, and when you neglect them, actually things crumble in other areas. Anger, tension, they all build up. So I've really learned that this thing, by the way, it's not underrated. It's not overrated. Encouraging is not overrated. It's actually very important. And the last point that I have is, the Bible is always a good foundation for any marriage. Like, what the Bible encourages actually is very true. When it comes to your words, like being gentle, not being spiteful, it's harder. And that's why, but it's the best way to like survive in a marriage, especially for women. Our tongues are very sharp. And when we are angry, and we can say a lot of things. But if you go back to the Bible and what it says about marriage, what it says about submission, what it says about loving your wife, all those things that it encourages, they actually make the marriage easier, though they are harder to do. So you really have to be very intentional. You have to be very intentional about making your foundation very strong and Bible-based and Bible-led. They actually work. I usually reflect on sermons that we had during our wedding, and they were very encouraging, but they were all biblical, and right now they make sense. It's easier to submit when a woman is loved, and vice versa. So anytime you just feel a bit shaky about something in your marriage, I usually encourage someone, go back to the Bible. What does it say about this issue? It really comes in handy to just solve some of these things. So those are some of the few things I've learned in my marriage in 2 years. It's just been 2 years, guys. So please, in the comment section, Wakurugenzi, those who've been married longer or even shorter, let me know in the comment section what are some of these lessons you've learned in marriage and you didn't actually know them before you got married. I look forward to your responses, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.